Zach LaVine finally winning 4 straight basketball games for the first time in 8 years since his UCLA days. It didn't start with the Bulls, actually during Olympic play when Team USA won gold. His early NBA career, picked 13 overall by the Timberwolves franchise, a historically bad team, going 16-66 his rookie season, still only won 29 games in year 2, tore his ACL February of his 3rd season as he was traded to a rebuilding Bulls team for Jimmy Butler. Chicago even in a worse position than Minnesota. LaVine's first 4 years on the squad, the team won the fewest amount of games in the league, having to deal with the Gar Pax era, the Fred Hoiberg days, followed by the unpopular Jim Boylan. First 3 seasons, the team won in the low 20s after a clean house, most importantly from the front office. With the additions of the brilliant DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, and Alex Caruso, the Bulls started the season 4-0, being the last unbeaten team in the East. LaVine tasting more basketball success in 2021 as a pro than any other year so far, enjoying a taste of success. The 26-year-old on his way to becoming a second-time All-Star. Trae Young becoming the first player to average 25 points, 9 assists in a season, to not make the All-Star team in 30 years, turned into a super villain in the playoffs, broke out, earned name recognition amongst the league's brightest young stars, drawing the Hawks' improbable postseason run. Oh, and the player that made the All-Star team over Trae as a reserve, Ben who disappeared in the playoffs, Simmons, being extremely doubted. Young now considered one of the best, if not the #1 point guard in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks might have found their modern day Reggie Miller. A strong second half season surge ended with the 5th seed, proved the Knicks didn't belong on his level, torched New York with a game winning bucket, his first ever postseason game, similar to the early times when Dame Lillard got snubbed. Young knocked off the #1 seed Sixers, even being near the basket intimidated Ben Simmons from wanting to dunk the ball. Of some of the Eastern Conference All-Stars, Young proved he was better than a lot of them. After this season, some even tried to make the claim they'd rather have Trae on their team over Luka Doncic for the 2018 class. No Shaquille O'Neal teammates for the first time in the finals in 38 years, absolutely absurd. We knew his record was coming to an end at some point in the future. We were just hoping to reach over 40 years, but the Diesel now retired for over 10 years. The 37-year-old's amazing streak down the list from Greg Kite of the '84 Celtics, who played with O'Neal in '94, now 60 years old. And the most recent, the 2020 Lakers, from having former teammates LeBron, Rondo, and Danny Green, you can thank the Phoenix Suns from eliminating LeBron's Lakers, followed by eliminating Rondo's Clippers, who made the conference finals. LAC was the last hope, perhaps a Kawhi injury the biggest reason for the streak to end, or blame Kevin Durant, size 18 feet, just inches away from knocking off Milwaukee, while O'Neal briefly played with former Nets Jeff Green. Shaq having just a handful of former active teammates. 5 years from now, everybody who's been a former teammate of O'Neal would have likely been retired. Reggie Jackson and Terrence Mann playing like stars in the postseason. We all thought the Clipper curse was going to continue on forever. From playoff disappointments, countless times blowing multiple 3-1 leads, 2021 didn't seem to be any different. The writing appeared to be on the wall after falling the first 2 at home to Dallas. The Kawhi PG era looked to be in shambles. Until the excellence of Leonard went bananas, Kawhi carried the Clippers on his shoulder at first, put up over 31.5 points, nearly 8 and 5, 2 steals, a block and a half on 65% shooting, winning 4 of the next 5 games, advancing to the semis against #1 Utah. Once again, the second round exit seemed probable, down 0-2, but after 2 blowouts the next 2 games, Leonard out indefinitely with a knee injury, the bubble still fresh from 9 months back, but the stunning Reggie Jackson outplayed Donovan Mitchell in Game 5, Terrence Mann dunking all over Gobert, Paul George a masterpiece. Clippers shocked the world. Game 6, 81 second half points, Terrence Mann and Reggie Jackson played like KD and Steph Curry out there. 39 for Mann on 7 3-pointers, Jackson 27 and 10 dimes, 2 role players, the ones who lifted the Clippers franchise curse. 51-year conference final drought no more. The 48 pick of the 2019 draft, the one who truly led the Clippers, combined with the excellent coaching of Ty Lue, allowed LAC to achieve the unthinkable without their best player after Game 4 of the Utah series. The Dallas Mavericks 27-0 when outscoring their opponents in the first quarter regular season, but the streak snapped in the postseason, 3 times blowing first quarter leads in the Clippers series. Games 3, 6, and 7, after getting to the playoffs, a solid 42-30 record. Everything the team achieved achieved in the regular season thrown out the window, the series seemed to be a wrap. Game 3, after a blazing hot start, a 30-11 lead, Clippers seemed doomed, but Dallas couldn't maintain the firepower, only up 3 at the end of 1 for Kawhi to respond with 18 second half points. Game 6 up 2 after 1, Leonard 29 second half points, a 45-point bomb. Mavs also up 3 after first quarter. Game 7, but the brilliance of the Clippers starters ruined the Mavs playoff hopes. Rick Carlisle fired afterwards to nobody's surprise. No super team remaining in the final 4 squads of the playoffs. 2 of these franchises hasn't won a single title. The other 2, 50+ year drought since coming on top. Unlike many traditional postseasons, right before the start of the playoffs, with a healthy Nets and Lakers, the 2 powerhouses supposed to meet, but injuries took a toll, altering the results. Of the 15 players who's made All-NBA team, only 3 ended up in the conference finals: PG, Giannis, and CP3, and not counting Kawhi due to injury, 10 All-Stars who's missed at least 1 playoff game. Teams that were considered afterthoughts just 2 seasons before, the Clippers being the 8th seed in 2019, no indication they were going to be contenders. The Suns' worst record in the West, deep lottery squad. Who would have thought a 35-year-old point guard would be the key to turning the franchise around in a year span? And the Hawks' rebuilding squad 2 years ago. How about Trae Young and Atlanta reaching the conference finals before the processed 76ers? Atlanta the 14th seed the previous year. Nobody on earth, even with the strongest basketball brains, could have accurately predicted Atlanta and Phoenix being one of the final 4 teams remaining for 2021. At this point, things became super unpredictable, improbable, especially with the results compared to the previous rounds. Giannis eventually came out on top, proving a superstar does not have to rely on a super team to win a ring. 2021 NBA Finals featured no former NBA champions since 1977. To have no former previous champ in the finals, everybody making their first finals debut, an extreme rarity. Due to the fact that many contenders would sign a former champion or 2 for veteran leadership, seeing all the LeBron consecutive finals over the years, the Kobe's, Shaq's, Tim Duncan's, Michael Jordan's of the world, to put more madness into perspective, the 77 Blazers also down 0-2 in those finals, the lower seed to the 76ers, before capping off 4 straight wins. Young Bill Walton had all-time great potential, with role players stepping up, similar to Giannis playing his best ball. The Greek Freak will go down having all-time great potential too. The impact of Holiday and Middleton, Dr. J's first NBA season with Philly, while CP3 after 16 years finally got to the finals. For regular fans, whoever came out on top between these 2 teams, we're gonna be happy for some of these players, regardless whether it was Chris Paul capturing title number 1 or Giannis winning his first title while entering his prime. First non-finals MVPs that's not a small forward since 2011 in a guard-oriented league. Impeccable 3-point shooting. The point guard position never has been more valuable in the NBA, but over the years, the most reliable superstars in past postseasons continues to be small forwards. The last point guard to have actually won a finals MVP over 14 years ago, Giannis actually played the small forward position his rookie year, but he was still only 6'9" then, a true power forward at 6'11". Before the insane performances from Game 5 and 6, there were a few chatters, even current players, believing small forward Chris Middleton should have some finals MVP considerations after a 40-point Game 4, but the Greek Freak left no doubt in anybody's minds who was going to be number 1, becoming the first non-small forward since Dirk Nowitzki to win finals MVP. After being used to seeing the best small forwards in the game take home the finals MVP trophy, placing a bet before the season on either Kevin Durant, LeBron James, or Kawhi Leonard would have had a high probability. After just his first 6 finals games, Giannis has as much 40 points finals performances than Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry combined. The same Phoenix Suns team that held LeBron to under 30 points in each of his 6 games, even Jokic held to averaging 25 on under 50% shooting versus Ayton. Before the season, there were still many doubts whether Giannis would develop a jump shot if he had what it took. Proved doubters wrong, went 17 of 19 from the line in Game 6, a game where his teammates struggled. Holiday went 4 of 19. Giannis by far the best player on both ends, also tied for the most points in a closeout finals game since 1958's Bob Pettit. Also the first season, Giannis's points per game did not increase from the previous year. Although it's only been a few months, Giannis's finals performance still doesn't get talked about enough for his insane dominance, the first time literally becoming unstoppable, putting up Shaq-like finals numbers in the 2000s. Combined with dealing with a bad ankle, nothing stopped the Greek Freak from pursuing basketball basketball greatness, as amazing a first finals for any all-time great belongs in the conversation with Magic in 1980, Jordan in 91, and Dwayne Wade in 2006. The craziest fact in 2021, bettors would have been better off with betting on Russell Westbrook having a higher chance at recording a triple-double than the Lakers winning a game. 38 total triple-doubles in 65 games. To be exact, that's a 58.4% chance, while the Lakers won just 58.3% of their games with a 42-30 record. Given all the big-name players the Lakers signed in the offseason, to the Dennis Schroeders and Montrezl Harrells of the world, adding Andre Drummond, better odds of Westbrook's game ending in a triple-double than predicting the Lakers to win, a stat that might get brought up more in 2022 due to the Lakers' continuous struggles. Russ's high stats and style of play makes him arguably the most criticized star player in the league. Russ, with the powerful numbers, also the assist leader, averaging 11.8 a game, missed just 7 total games. If we counted those 7 games missed in that regular season, if we counted those 7 games with 0 assists for Russ on the stat sheet, he still would have came in first in assists by a huge margin. Additional strange facts, not that strange before 2021, 26 times have a center won an MVP award, more than the next top 2 position combined. But after Shaq won the award in 2000, combined with the lack of superstars bigs after the collapse of Orlando Dwight Howard, it seemed like the center position would become extinct, only to diversify their skill set with superstar Jokic ending the big man drought, maintaining a sizable lead for the Fives, winning the award 27 total times. 50 years from now, it'll be interesting to see if the gap between the positions for winning MVP, will the center still maintain a sizable lead and continue to prove their value at the highest levels. Some of the strangest moments, Kevin Durant getting pulled out the middle of a game due to being in contact with somebody who tested positive back in February, which absolutely made 0 sense. He already played the first half, despite being tested negative 3 times the last 24 hours. A bizarre situation. It's an absolute travesty. The league let him play in the first half, then took him out later. Made no goddamn sense. Durant's 166 consecutive games scoring double-digit streak snapped due to the league pulling him out. If LeBron was in KD's situation, you think the NBA would have had the audacity to do that to James? I'm just saying. How about Trae Young's untimely injury, stepping on the ref, resulting getting hurt during the playoffs, out the next 2 games? Honestly, the worst way to get hurt. The strangest inbounds blooper, Russell Westbrook literally drawing the ball away. No idea what that was.